To create effective policy, local government officials should gather quantitative evidence and constituent perspectives about how to best solve community challenges. However, in South Africa, despite legislative requirements and well-intentioned officials, local policymakers often fail to seek out and use the best available evidence when crafting policies. The field of behavioral science shows us that seemingly trivial features of policymakers' context can greatly influence their behavior. For this work, we used a behavioral science approach to understand what might prevent policymakers from using evidence to inform policy. To this end, we conducted in-depth interviews with policymakers across 5 municipalities in the Western Cape of South Africa, and identified numerous behavioral barriers that were contributing to this problem. These barriers affect policymakers' perceptions of evidence in general, how necessary and useful they feel it is to the policymaking process, and they affect whether policymakers use existing evidence or gather more evidence. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about 2 of the barriers we uncovered. First, we learned that policymakers often fail to use existing quantitative evidence because they don't trust that it's valid. One of the reasons policymakers don't trust quantitative data is that they often judge its validity based on their pre-existing beliefs and on whether the issues that are most salient to them or most top of mind are highlighted in the data. One policymaker we interviewed said that they didn't trust the unemployment statistics they were given because they constantly saw people filing for unemployment in their office, and so the numbers had to be higher than what the data said. As a second example, we learned that policymakers might not consider gathering additional input from communities because they believe they already know what the community needs. Community members do, in fact, raise similar issues over time, so policymakers are likely to hear the same needs over and over. However, this leads policymakers to be overconfident in their knowledge of what the community needs. Overconfidence is a well-studied behavioral tendency that occurs when our belief in our own abilities exceeds reality. And in this case, overconfidence means that policymakers don't always seek new inputs from communities, even if they could be helpful for shaping policy. While we only have time today to discuss 2 of these barriers, we hope that you'll spend some time exploring the additional barriers on our poster, and we'll also be publishing a report with these insights shortly. Through this work, we hope to show that applied behavioral science can play an important role in understanding the barriers to evidence use in policymaking and add a new perspective to the existing literature on this important topic. If you have any questions or are interested in learning more about our work, feel free to reach out to us or visit our website. Thank you for listening.